Ladies and gentlemen, this Red Gaming Technicom video, we have yet more news on the Amazon console. You may remember just yesterday I reported that there has been news floating about the internet that states that Amazon are looking into releasing an Android-based console. As of then, there wasn't really any information to do with specs. However, now we have a little bit of information which gives us a rough idea of what the CPU could well be. Now, it appears to be powered by the Qualcomm MPQ, that is Mother Paul Quality chip, and that's the Snapdragon processor. And this processor line is usually used in smart TVs and set-top boxes. Now, before the emergence of the rumours of the game's console, there was also news that Amazon themselves were working on a set-top box. Isn't everyone nowadays? It seems everyone and their mother seems to be trying to put out set-top boxes, but regardless. And so it's possible, if you want to do some mathematics here, put two and two together, so to speak, it's possible that these two devices are one and the same. It's possible that Amazon have decided, you know what, we also want this to do games, and we also want this to do, well, movies and whatever else as well. Now, apparently, it's being worked on in Lab 126. Now, just for a bit of information and kind of like a comparison's sake, this was actually the experimental hardware division that was responsible for first creating Amazon's Kindle device, and we know how popular that's turned out to be. It appears from various rumours and so forth right now that we know that Amazon are really focused on developing games for their own hardware, so basically first-party titles. And we've also talked about Amazon's games division a little bit yesterday, and it certainly has some key players in the industry. Primarily, it has people from, say, Microsoft Game Studios, or formerly from Microsoft's Game Studios, should I say. Now, interestingly enough, Webush security analyst Michael Patcher, and he's obviously fairly vocal in the stuff, and once again, this is his thoughts and opinions. He's actually been thinking that it's possible that Amazon themselves could be giving this away to Amazon Prime subscribers. Now, in theory at least, the hardware should be fairly cheap for Amazon to produce, and so it's relatively a good bet, anyway, not a certainty, nothing's a certainty until Amazon have announced it, of course, that they are looking to make money off the content itself. In other words, sell the hardware as cheap as possible, and then lure people into purchasing, one-off purchases, films, games, downloads, whatever they need to do. And so if this ends up being true, they have a relatively powerful device, of course, which will be powered by Android. The rumours are really early at the moment, and it's possible that it could turn out to be a pretty cool little device. I have a few concerns, however. People on Facebook, facebook.com/redgamingtech, have commented on this, and I've received a few messages and so forth as well. There are a couple of issues. Firstly, as we all know, Android devices, you might have, say, a cell phone or a tablet or whatever, and they can play the games fine. And so, obviously, great. The other issue, of course, with all of this is that next generation consoles are coming out, and honestly speaking, they could do a lot of the same stuff. Now, there's a further addition to this as well, the Ouya. But one small concern for the Ouya, well, not even a small concern, a massive, huge concern, is, of course, Amazon. And it's a huge, well-known brand. It's like Microsoft or Sony in that respect. Everyone knows Amazon. I would struggle to think of someone I know who has an internet connection, who shops online, who has not bought something from Amazon. I don't care if they're 18 years old or whether they're 80 years old. Everyone I know who shops online has bought at least one or two things from Amazon. They're becoming, well, they are basically now synonymous with well, online shopping. Let's just be honest, they do everything. And so that level of buying power, that level of brand recognition is certainly going to be an interesting thing for smaller developers such as the GameStick or the Ouya to fight against, because as I mentioned just yesterday, you've also got not just the brand recognition with Android, sorry, not with Android, I'm sorry, with Amazon, but you've also got the AWS, which is the Amazon Web Services, which are very powerful servers. I mean, you know, they can do anything. They can power anything from, say, a tiny little website, you know, like a little micro instance, like 500 and something megs of memory, I believe. I can't remember the exact amount. All the way up to like gigabytes of memory with massive powerful processors, and this is completely scalable. And they can do everything else such as CDN, content delivery network, backups with S3 storage, Glacier. They've got a lot of technology there, and they are forever trying to drive down the price because obviously they are facing stiff competition right now, which is understandable. But in addition to all of that, this is compounding the fact that they can deliver all this content very easily, very smoothly to, well, pretty much any location. That isn't to say that their network is perfect. No network is perfect, but it's certainly established, and I wouldn't be surprised because they have certainly the technical expertise. Amazon, Microsoft, Rackspace as well, who are another key player in the cloud industry, and a couple of other major competitors. They're all poaching from one another like staff. It's quite readily available, and this is of course very similar to the mobile phone industry or cell phone tablets and so forth as well. You often hear, or company A is suing company B for stealing an idea because a key employee left company A to work for B, and then company C is also trying to steal technology. It becomes a whole thing. So obviously they do actually have a lot of technical expertise on hand. My concern is whether the marketplace itself is going to be interested in another Android console. I'll be honest, if the system was really interesting, as in it had some really cool features, I might pick one up. But as someone who primarily games on their PC and occasionally dabbles in console, as you guys are aware, I'm going to be, well, I've already got the PlayStation 4 in pre-order and so on. And I rarely play Android games. I do have an Android cell phone, nevertheless, but still. Which reminds me, really, I really do need to look into the contract. I think it's up in the next couple of weeks. Still have no idea what phone I'm going to be getting, but that's an aside. Yeah, I don't really know if a console like this interests me, but then I am what I'd consider to be a core gamer. I am not one of those gamers who, you know, plays a little bit at Angry Birds and that's it. However, to actually have the thing in the center of the living room, it's going to make life quite interesting, I think, for Microsoft as well, because Microsoft also going, of course, for the center of entertainment. Of course, Xbox does have significantly better games, well, you'd expect it to, and significantly more power behind it as well. And so, obviously, it can't exactly compete, but I'll be curious to see just what a low power version of basically Xbox One it could turn out to be does, especially since it's got Amazon's full backing. Still not 100% convinced on it. I still want to know exactly what Amazon's game plan is, whether they're going to have exclusives for the system. Rumours have it that they also have access to the Play Store, of course, which is the Android store where you can download games and so on. I'm still a bit concerned about piracy as well. But once again, I'm sure they're going to have a handle on it somehow or another. Regardless, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.